here? Yes, we are here. Alright, well, let the intro music go ahead and take place and we can get you good and ready to go. So, alright, let's let this intro play and then we'll get it started. Alright. Alright, thanks family. Welcome to joining this another Melanated Economic News. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and let's get it started. Hope you enjoy their music. Alright, so let's get it popping. Alright, we're gonna end up with the stock markets, alright, as they close on Friday, because I'm gonna show you in the chart what happens on Sunday when just about dinner is being served and people are going to bed getting ready for work. And if school starts back, you begin working ready to get the kids ready for school. Alright, so let's get it started. Alright, it was a Friday. Crude oil closed down at closed down negative 35 cents to $41.60. Gold went down negative $24.90 to about $2,026.60. Silver was unchanged at $20.40. Alright, the euro to US dollar was at 1.178. Alright, the 10-year bond was up to about 0.5620. The VIX was down 0.44, about just under 2% to about 22.21. The GBP to the US dollar went down 0.0101 to about 1.3041. The US dollar to the Japanese yen was up at about 37 cents to about 0.35%. All right, to about 105.8720. All right, Bitcoin was down $171.55. The CMC Crypto 200 was unchanged. It says a positive, but might as well call it unchanged at 0%. That means it's less than 0% positive change. So about 156.75. The FTSE 100 up about just above 5 points. All right, the Nikkei 225 is down 88.26. 88.26 points. All right, so let's go ahead and get started into some news over here. Alright, this was it today. ZeroHedge.com. Bank run in Northeast China, part of a growing trend. Alright, ZeroHedge.com. On a run on the bank in Huludao, Huludao in China's Liaoning province began on Monday, August 3rd, a day after the bank announced on its official website that the former president Wang Zhiling, XUELING, is under investigation on suspicion of serious violations of the Communist Party's law and disciplines. Alright, the stage for a bank run may have been set when the bank's 2009 annual report showed a total profit and net profit in 2019 fell 57.86% and 59.40% per year on year, respectively. Alright. Starting with a run on the banks in Guangzhou in Western China in April, bank runs have popped up in geographically dispersed points across the country, including Hebei and Shaanxi province, suggesting that this bank run on Bank of Huludao in the northeastern Long province is not an isolated instance. All right, on July 29th, the 10th largest shareholders of the bank, ASMEM Industry and Trade, put its 65 million shares of the bank equity up for auction. The company was listed as a dishonest entity subject to enforcement twice last year. Also, the bank's second largest shareholder, Shenyang Daojing Ceramic Industry Company Limited, was an entity subject to enforcement both in 2017 and 2018. All right. So it also goes down here to says that the Bank of Huludao, previously unknown as Huludao Commercial Bank, was founded in 2001. All right. The title of the bank president's exile and return, with a registered capital of 2 billion to 5 million yuan. 2 billion, 5 million yuan, approximately 288.8 million, is a regionally shared holding commercial bank located in Huludao Liaoning province in 2006. Liaoning province in 2006, China's Banking Regulatory Commission exposed the Huludao Bank bond case. All right, so they've been in trouble for years. All right, and going back based on almost let's go with almost 14 years now, this bank has been in deep trouble. All right, and the bank runs have started on that bank as well too. So China has deep problems going on with that. More bank runs are popping up here and there. All right. Don't think because it's happening overseas, it won't happen here in the U.S. Go back and look at almost what happened to Bank of America back in the early part of this century, all right? It was almost a bank run on the Bank of America, all right? All right? Next story. All right, U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar devalues 99% versus gold in 100 years as gold price crosses $2,067. All right, it took a hit on Friday because some of the naked shorts, do your research on what a naked shorting is. All right. All right, don't think derogatory. This is not a derogatory channel, but the term is called naked shorting. All right, the dumping of paper contracts into the market is, and also some people wanted to drive the price down. Some of the big boys, so they dumped some of their physical precious metals into the market so they can drive the price back down. All right, but it's going beyond that now. Some of the naked shorting, some of the paper contracts, and even people, the big wigs, are dumping some of their physical metal onto the market. Is not holding back any longer. People see what's coming, and now they're actually forcing the price back up. All right. So we go again. The U.S. dollar devalues by 99% as gold in 100 versus gold in 100 years as gold price crosses the $2,067. All right. As a reserve currency is supposed to be superior in store value, but through boundless money printing, the U.S. dollar hasn't been able to compete with gold by a long shot. In 1932, the gold price was $20.67. $20.67. All right, per troy ounce. Today it crosses $2,067. All right. So that's a big jump, family. Do your percentage mark up on that one, and you'll know what's going on. All right. All right. That is a 99% decline. 99% decline in value of the dollar against gold. Other reserve currencies such as the British pound and Japanese yen have done even worse. Yen has lost 99.98% of its value against gold in 100 years. Note this chart below as a scale. All right, the chart is too small for me to show, family. Just please go to the zerohedge.com and look at the description. Look at the headline: U.S. dollar devalues by 99% versus gold in 100 years as gold price crosses $2,067. All right, and you'll have it up there. All right. So we're going with that story there. All right, just remember the dollar has lost almost all of its value ever since the 1913 Federal Reserve Act. All right, the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. All right, so some people may say 1914, but it go with 1913. But if it don't show up 1913, go with 1914. All right. All right, we're gonna go with our final story of the night. All right, no payment, no problem. Bizarre new world of consumer debt. That's also zerohedge.com. This is an interesting topic here. All right. The New York Federal Reserve released a doozy of a household credit report. It summarized that individual lenders have been reporting about their own practices, and if you can't make a payment on your mortgage, auto loan, credit or debit card, or student loan, just ask for a deferral or forbearance. If you won't have to make the payments, and the loan won't account as a delinquent, and if it wasn't delinquent before, and even if it was a delinquent before, you can cure a delinquent by getting a loan deferred and modified. No payment, no problem. All right. Nearly all student loans go into forbearance. Delinquencies plunge. Student loan borrowers will automatically roll into a forbearance under the CARES Act, even though many students have stopped making payments. All right. Delinquency rates plunged because the December Department of Education had decided to report as current all those loans that are in forbearance, even if they were delinquent. Yep. According to the New York Fed data, the delinquency rate of student loan borrowers, though many had stopped making payments, plunged from 10.75% in quarter one to 6.97% in quarter two, lowest since 2007. All right. We're going to go down a little bit further. Okay, it says down here, delinquency loans cured without catch-up payments, and because delinquency in student loans, auto loans, credit card debit, and mortgage are being cured, putting the loans in deferred programs and modifying the delinquent loans because current loans, even though no catch-up payments have been made. Still, about 32 million people are claiming unemployment insurance. A similar employment shock during the financial crisis, and the percentage of delinquent loans balances to soar, and the percentage of current balance loans is to plunge, to bottom out at 88% in quarter four 2009. Not this time. As the percentage of delinquent loan balances fell, the percentage of current loan balances jumped to 96.4%, a record high in the New York Fed's data going back to 2003. All right. All right, and then we go to this final one down here at the bottom of the same article. Mortgage turns into ATMs by not making payments. Delinquencies cured at record pace. Wells Fargo, one of the big banks, they've been in trouble, reported a $44 billion in consumer loans in deferral at the end of quarter two. Remember, we talking about calendar year quarters, all right, family. So quarter two just wrapped up from March 1st to June 30th, all right. Then we're now in quarter three. Quarter three is going to end on September 30th, all right. That's from July 1st to 30 September. All right, that is the calendar year. It's different from the fiscal year. All right, this includes $30 billion in mortgages. In total, 12% of its first mortgages and 10% of its second mortgages were in deferral. Nearly 9% of J.P. Morgan home mortgages were in deferral, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. 7.8% of all home mortgages are currently in forbearance. Let me read that again. 7.8% of all home mortgages are in forbearance. All right. According to the New York Fed, $730 billion in mortgages are in forbearance, and the payments that are being deferred amount to about $6 billion a month. All right, a significant transfer to home ownership that may have been used to increase consumption elsewhere or to pay down other types of debt. All right, so sometimes what they base in here, people are not paying their mortgage. They're trying to get all their other debt paid down before they start paying back mortgages. So many people are deferring their mortgage payments. The banks are hurting because of this. All right, but when times get desperate, people tend to want to some people get smarter, some people not so smart. All right, and mortgages that have been 30 to 60 days delinquent were cured at record paces. At a record pace, they were brought to current not because borrowers made catch-up payments, but because the mortgages were modified and rolled into forbearance, and this were once again deemed current and thus cured. A record 61% of the 30 to 60 day late mortgages were thusly cured in quarter two. All right. So, all right, family, that was it for today's news. Before we go, I want to show you a chart of when I say the Sundays the markets and the Asian markets open while we are just about getting ready to go to sleep. Here's a picture. This is from CNNBusiness.com. I try to give you the whole frame of it, so just hold on for a second, family. All right, if you can see it closely, see North and South America markets open at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's here and today. Today is Sunday here. All right. European markets open up at 3 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. That's why we're asleep and just about lunchtime here in the U.S. All right. But look over here to the Asian markets. All right. This is what I mean, family, by pay attention to what's going on overseas in the Asian market. They get the first crack on Monday their time. When we're at dinner, just about getting ready to go to sleep, they're getting up for their work. All right. So at 8 p.m. here on the East Coast, here in the U.S., which pretty much be on the East Coast, all right, they're going to open up their markets, all right. Their markets open up from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. East Coast time here in the U.S., all right. All right, so pay attention to that, all right. So once again, now you know why I say just to pay attention to the Asian markets when we're getting ready to go to dinner or people are going to sleep, putting their kids to bed, all right. All right. So that's it for another edition of Melanin Economic News. All right. Thank you for joining us again. All right. We'll see you around. Take it easy, family. Be easy. Remember, come together. All right. And stay safe. All right. I'll see you around again, family. All right. Let's get it started.